Thieves in the bot lane.
Thanks, guys. Cody-san, congratulations on that intense victory. That was such an even and back and forth game. How were you and 100 Thieves finally able to take control and win the series?
I think going into the series, I had a feeling that Caitlyn was just one of the best picks for the match. And since all the games were going to super late game, I was confident that, you know, if I got Caitlyn, that no matter how late the game got, that we were gonna win out in the end.
And kind of speaking to that, it seemed like a very bot-centric series. With that last game, it basically being the Cody-Sun show with 4 tanks around you. So were you feeling the pressure, and maybe how did you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were just gonna try to focus me the whole game because of the comp, right? So I was just like screaming for protection, and I told Zach that, you know, he had to save shield for the Orno or else, you know, I'll just die. So yeah, I was just trying to position really well for the last game, and I had a few positioning errors in the beginning of the series, so I really wanted to make up for it in this last game.
And kind of speaking to your opponents, everyone was looking at Clutch as the underdog. What did you think about them today?
I thought they were a very respected team. I think that, you know, our match today, it was a 50-50, and it could have went to either team. And I think that, yeah, I don't think they were underdogs at all. I think they were a team that we had to try our absolute best to play against, or else we would lose. So, yeah.
Now, earlier today, your coach, Prawley, was actually awarded with the Coach of the Split Award. So what was it like working with him, and maybe what did he teach you?
I think Prawley's just a really goofy guy, and he's just really fun to talk to and talk about strategy and just learn from. So yeah, I respect him a lot, and I think he's a very good coach, and he's helped us a ton this split.
And he isn't the only coach of the split that you've worked with, I believe. Prawley didn't seem like he knows what he's doing differently from coaches, but do you? What does he do?
I think him and Song has a very different coaching style. They're like the polar opposites. So Song is pretty like headstrong on what he wants to do, and probably really wants his players to feel comfortable on the team comp and everything. So yeah, I had to get used to Prawley's coaching style in the beginning, but yeah, now I like it a lot more, and I feel really confident with Prawley as my coach.
And the last thing I want to ask you, this is actually the second time that you are qualifying for the finals in playoffs. What's the difference between Summer Cody-Sun last year and Cody-Sun now?
Summer Cody-Sun last year, it was my first year being a pro and making it to the finals. I was pretty nervous, and I think I made a lot of mistakes. And then after making it to Worlds and, you know, having all the awards experience, now going to the finals again, I definitely want to take first. And I'm going to be playing against my old teammates from Immortals, so I think, you know, we're all just going to try our best and make the best team win.
Well, Cody-Sun, congratulations again on your victory. I wish you the best of luck. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avali, and thank you to Clutch Gaming and 100 Thieves for an insane series. Ultimately, 100 Thieves, though, coming out on top 3-2 in a 70-plus minute Game 5. 6 items across the board on one side, 6 items on the board across on the other.
Picks. Whenever you walk into a playoff series, you're always hoping you get 5 games. Then when the 5th game is twice the length of all the other games, that doesn't usually happen.
We should have done average game time over-under on this
There was a whole game's worth of time spent playing around Baron in this game.
Yes, there was.
And there were a lot of different fights that broke out. One of the most important ones we saw previously was Some Days Engage onto Ryu, and then excuse that.
Some Days Engage onto Feathervin.
Right, and then the follow-up there onto the bot lane, getting more kills, setting them up to kind of get control of this game after it turned into a bit of an ARAM for a period of time. But, you know, Clutch Gaming wouldn't go down without a fight. This is an overextension by Ryu. Doesn't channel his flash long enough to keep Apollo locked down, which baits his entire team into walking onto the Ori ball, so they get punished right back despite taking a 5v4.
Yeah, you could definitely tell there was some nerves involved in the plays there, like not channeling taunt long enough, and a huge play by Apollo there to actually save the game. You're not really going to remember that in the history of the season since they ultimately lost the game, but there were some huge call-outs, right? When Febiven had huge four-man shockwaves in very key moments, or when Meteos was holding his ultimate until just the right time. Like this fight right here felt like it could potentially swing in either way. Like Clutch was so close to being able to take down Meteos quickly, but then they end up taking too much damage in the process.
Yeah, Cody-san with some slick positioning in those late-game team fights, avoiding many of Febiven's ults, either by good positioning or holding his flash for it.
Yeah, as well as the fact that they did play the map better over the course of this game. It might be hard to really notice, but they did end up getting all the inhibitors down. They built CS leads someday in particular, made sure not to overgroup, which tended to happen a little bit later on in the game, but it led to this crazy situation where they have the extra map pressure. Clutch Gaming, despite going 1-for-1 in the fight initially, needs to back off and defend their turrets, and then it just starts breaking down from there. Apollo gets caught out. Ryu's finally able to solo out Febiven in the back line, and they're able to finally win that game.
I mean, we were at that point where people are selling items, pulling out.
Look at that gold graph.
We're not used to putting that many digits.
2,000 damage coming out of that.
That's
Caitlyn.
a small K. They barely fit that in there.
Exactly. I mean, even Apollo up over that 100K mark. So again, there's nothing to scoff at in terms of damage coming from the Clutch squad.
It's because once everyone hit these items, you had double Warmogs on both teams, and they were the ones walking around for position as the AD carries just kept hitting them back and forth, but it was never fatal damage.
Right.
Because you had the Braum to block the Ornn engage, and you had the Morgana Black Shields to block pretty much any engage that 100 Thieves would throw. So it was just these meat walls getting hit for 1,000 damage a hit from the AD carries, not dying.
And it's very fitting for 100 Thieves that the way that they punched their ticket to the finals is kind of how they were winning games at the start of the season. These very long, drawn-out games where their veteran status helped them make the better decisions over the course of a game like that. So it was kind of reminiscent of that, the start of the season.
Well, if you want to talk about veteran status and experience, Jad, I think you do have to point to Game 5s like this, where there's no practicing for 70 minutes.
Exactly.
There's no practicing for 60-plus minutes in an elimination game. And simply, when it comes down to it, a little bit more composure out of the 100 Thieves squad, a little bit more map control ultimately brings them the victory.
Yeah, and then you're looking at Meteos and Aphromoo, who have been there before. Cody-san having the world's experience last year that he wanted to make up for, not having a big misposition to try and make the big play at the end of the game. And because he doesn't make that big mistake, he does 121,000 damage, right? So a bit of a do-over for Cody-san in the high-pressure situation, and then Meteos and Aphromoo, when you're down to your most basic elements in these games, where you're basically just A-ramming for 40 minutes and you know that one mistake decides your season. You don't, like you said, you don't practice.
You don't practice for it. We'll talk more in just a minute. For now, though, we're going to throw it back down to Avli, who's standing by with 100 Thieves top laner.
Thanks, guys. I am joined by Someday and our translator, Joanne. Someday, congratulations on that victory. You had some phenomenal performances with the tanks up in top. How would you rate your own performance today?
I think I played well, so we win, but not extremely satisfied, so I'm gonna try to hard for final.
Where were you maybe unsatisfied with your performance?
Because I didn't play perfect.
A perfectionist, I see. Well, kind of speaking to that, earlier in the split, there were a few people who kind of doubted your performance and maybe even put you a little bit lower on the top tier rankings. What's your reaction to that?
My personality is too much care about other people think about me, and and I hate blame, and I like the prize. So we show them we deserve to go to final.
And you proved them. You're on your way to finals by taking down Clutch Gaming. I want to ask you a little bit about your opponents for today. Like I spoke with Cody, people thought that Clutch Gaming was the underdog, coming in, going to make these upsets and take down the top teams. What were your expectations coming into the match today?
They played very well, so they won against TSM, so we should 100% play. But
today was not 100%, but we won, so it's happy for me.
Happy indeed. Now, you came to NA kind of with the mentality of showing people what you are made of, and you're going to have an opportunity to do that next week in the finals in Miami. How are you going to prove to people what you're made of?
Just keep trying to hard with my teammate, and we go Miami, so see you finals.
See you in finals. In finals, you're going to take on Impact and the rest of Team Liquid. What do you think about that team, and how confident are you in taking them down?
They play very well, so it's gonna be hard game. But I don't think we just lose. We can show how we doing good. So you guys can expect the final games.
Someday, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck, and congratulations, Joanne. Thank you so much. Back to the guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Someday, that guy on your screen right there. When we talked about this series coming in, we talked about how playoffs so far had so much revolved around the bot lane and both AD carries as well as supports in that sense. This series, though, however, did in many points, or at many points, revolve around the top lane. Both Solo and Someday having their fair share of work cut out for them.
And I think, hands down, the biggest thing that went wrong for Clutch Gaming in this final game was actually their most inexperienced player for Solo. Unfortunately for him, he over-roamed trying to do the right team play, and he lost a lot of pressure to Someday, and then when he had the TP advantage, he still group mid the entire time as opposed to generating split push pressure, and that's when that game started stalling out. And so Someday, showing that veteran status, the fact that he did have that extra experience, knowing to stay calm and composed and play the game correctly even in these high-pressure situations.
Yep, very much so. Well, in their freshman split, 100 Thieves have made it to the finals, and while every member on the Rift today was crucial in making that dream a reality, one player had the pressure put upon his shoulders and truly delivered for the new org. We are awarding Cody Sun Player of the Series.
Yeah, you look at his damage in that last game and the fact that they priority picked the bottom lane for Caitlyn for him, and he had so much success on that pick. Was huge. And you look at these team compositions, Sion, Trundle, Galio, Braum, one misstep by Caitlyn and they don't actually do much damage. So really thin win margin for Cody Sun, but with that being said, I think Meteos was super close for that vote, as is Someday.
Absolutely, and it was a complete team effort, and anytime there's a 5-game series, you can point to different times where different people stepped up, but just how critical he was in that last game, the entire team comp built around him.
62% of their damage.
That's all right.
I mean, again, anytime you end up in a 5-game series as well, it becomes that much more difficult to pinpoint the player who should receive the award, just because there are times when some people are making mistakes just as much as they're making game-winning plays. But the consistency there in the 3 victories on the ADC being indexed so heavily for that damage needing to come through, he picks up the award for that reason. Now, before we end our discussion around the series, we need to revisit our over-under predictions from earlier in the day. First up, Febiven's deaths. We had set the bar at 3.5.
It was more.
We were rather close to that until we went to 5 games.
Yeah.
To be
6 deaths in a 5-game
only
loss
6.
actually feels pretty low. I was expecting it to be a 4-game series.
1.2 deaths per game, that's pretty legit when you've lost 3 of them.
Yeah, I think the numbers were close to what we thought. The 1 4-game death he had was what really kind of threw it out of whack.
Exactly. Total kills for the series. Let's take a look at that one as it came out. 70.5 was the line. Mark said over. Jet said under.
5 games. 75-minute.
We had more kills yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had more kills yesterday.
And it didn't have a 70-minute.
And we didn't have a 70-minute game 5 on that one.
All right, the one,
Bindings.
The one we care about.
And hooks.
2 Morgana games is all there was.
That's all we had.
But it was a 70-minute more game.
70-minute Morgana game.
Give us our final total.
I think it went over.
Oh, 220!
There were 190
Yeah, because it was 30 in game 1 or something like that from Afro's Morgana, right? And then that means it was 190 in the 70-minute game, if my math is close to right.
We were always told not to do math on air.
In a single game.
In a single game. The one Morgana game would put me over. I don't even need game
174.
How could you not get that,
I just
Jack?
received word 174 bindings thrown in that final game of the series. So good on Hakuo for tossing them out, but that's what you get in a 70-minute game. Now, before we move away from the series, we're going to send it back down to Avli, who's standing by with the owner of 100 Thieves.
Thanks, guys. The owner, founder, and CEO. I am here with Nate Shot. I saw you watching from the crowd there. What was it like to watch your team in this intense series?
Well, I go backstage after we win, and I ask them, could you have not done it in such dramatic fashion? Why couldn't it have been like a 30-minute game and it's just a clean win? But it was incredible. I think for everybody watching at home, everyone here at the studio, that's the best outcome we could have asked for. I mean, unfortunately, Clutch Gaming lost. It said good game to them, but I'm just so proud of the team. But the match, I definitely wish it was a little shorter.
Now, I mean, how does it feel to you? This is a new org and a new team that has made its way all the way into the finals. Yeah,
I think it's still incredibly surreal. It hasn't set in yet. I know our team at the office, we're working hard every single day, up, shoulder to shoulder with the players while they're practicing. So to see all of us, have this reward to be able to make it to the finals in our first season is unbelievable. We're grateful, we're humbled, and we're going to keep working hard and hopefully take the championship.
Now, we've heard from everyone, the fan base, the community. It seems like you guys have already built up this huge following. Anything that you'd like to say to your supporters?
Just honestly, a big thank you to the entire League of Legends community, because I know there was a lot of controversy when we first stepped in, because unfortunately teams had to leave the LCS for us to jump into the spot. But we've just been trying to do everything the right way, do right by the players, do right by the community, do right by just everybody involved. And that's been like our #1 focus. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts at 100 Thieves. The fact that you guys have been so supportive and receptive to a new team, watching our videos, watching the heist, and our incredible content team putting all that work in. It's just a lot of moving parts here, and we're just very grateful to be in this position, from Riot accepting us into the LCS and the community accepting us into their home.
Last thing I want to ask you before I let you go celebrate with your team. Are the world's Teslas already on pre-order?
No, so I walked out of the front house today, and because we had the championship white jerseys on, and Media's told me he really liked my Yeezys. And then I remembered that I still have not bought them Yeezys from when we beat Optic in the first match. And so if we end up winning Worlds, I'm going to need a loan from Dan Gilbert, more money, because I don't think I can make these Teslas happen.
Pay the man. We need Yeezys. We need Teslas. Congratulations again on your victory, and I wish you the best of luck in Miami. Back to the guys at the desk.
Thank you, Avli. Thank you, 100 Thieves, for shaking up the NALCS. Yeah. A new org moving into the franchise system. Their first split. They're going to make it all the way to the finals and contest Team Liquid, one of our old guard who have yet to win themselves. I mean, what an epic final.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a lot of victories in the franchising system just across the board, but I think 100 Thieves are probably the shining example, and the fact that you're getting that matchup versus Team Liquid, like we said, the old guard, but still a lot of familiar faces, that rematch between Afro and Doublelift. Of course, Ryu getting into a finals after what feels like forever for him, always competing in Europe and never really getting that chance. A little bit of the same story in NA most recently.
That's one new org. Let's not forget that the other new org made it into playoffs. Clutch Gaming just, losing in a 70-minute game. Going to go contest Echo Fox for that third place, a seed into Rift Rivals, and some all-important championship points when it comes to Worlds qualification later in the year.
Yeah, you can see they have good backing from the team as well. Daryl Morey, the GM of the Houston Rockets, was here, as he was here for the draft of Scouting Grounds. Like, they're really supporting this team, and they've shown immediate success. They can still finish third. They can still represent at Rift Rivals.
Very much so. Now, leading into the finals, you brought the hype to our semifinals and charted the huge moments that made playoffs worth watching, giving us our LCS big plays. Brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Ellie shouted it from the mountaintops. Doublelift is popping off.
Ult lands, hits Huni again. Needs the pop, the stone plate does do so. Purple gets shredded. Pops is on, he's a 4-man. Oh no, might be enough. Doublelift does kill Huni, but Fox, actually they do have to scatter. Doublelift grabs the double kill. Altec still free firing on the other side. A triple kill for Doublelift, a quadra kill for Doublelift.
Okay.
Okay,
Chill. I don't give it. Hey, bye. Yeah. Ami, everyone. Yeah. Okay, I'm going. Yeah, Base. Can we get it? Oh, no, I can't. Hold the bot one if we can.
I mean, again, you want to talk about crazy storylines. Once again, you point to Doublelift, a guy who's already won on 2 organizations, now positioned to win his third on a different organization in Team Liquid. I mean, and doing it in pretty amazing fashion on that Ashe.
Yeah, especially with Impact coming up big as well. The whole team, just crazy amounts of CC in there, but hit, I think, 5-man Ornalt, both directions, I'm pretty sure. That was absolutely monstrous, making his way back to his finals, hoping to win for the first time in North America here. Good luck to him.
Yep, we'll have to see. Tough. Next up, shame on you for Bivin. Wait, what? Next up, shame on you for Bivin. You gave Phil a heart attack after that bold Shurima shuffle. Let's take a look.
Poor Phil.
They'll take the Cho'Gath right away. Hawkwoe is in the front. Great health is on as he cleanses himself to safety. We're watching solo Febvin. Apollo goes forward. Oh, Febvin's in the fight. Shurima shuffles himself in. All very low. 300 HP between all the members of 100 Thieves. And Febvin makes their clutch play.
Febvin was like already there catching the mid-wave. Everybody is there right in time. It's not a split fight where one person's off on the side. They stun Someday. They pull him back in. The person that can't get out of the Skarner ult, the only person right there, Aframu, forced to blow his flash, because that would have been a 3-man there from Febvin.
That was so close to also being even better. If Apollo would have shifted over the wall with him, those 3 people that were all really low health would have all been dead right away.
I mean, but again, that's that in-the-moment decision-making where Febvin saw an opportunity, went for it, and they still ultimately won that game. Finally, Floop appreciated how Meteos played a team fight versus Clutch Gaming. Let's take a look.
They're going from the side. There's the ulti.
Oh my word. They lock down the Ryu. That's going to be huge. They get the Mega Gnar ult in. No. Febvin very low. That's the huge one. Shockwave did not go off.
He pulls Galio with the W on straight to his mid laner. Watch this.
But look at Apollo as well. I mean, the mid laner gets haunted, and Apollo is just getting trained down in the back. No one is coming to target Meteos. No one is coming to help Apollo whatsoever.
Floop! Floop! Call him out.
Sorry. I
just love the
yeah, it was great. How can you say floop without doing some kind of a floop? You know, I don't know. I felt it. I internalized it, and that's how it came out. We're shipping off to Miami, but we need you to keep tweeting your big plays throughout finals weekend using that hashtag NALCS. Now, with the semifinals complete, we can now look ahead to next week's finals at the Fillmore Theater in South Beach, Miami. Echo Fox and Clutch Gaming will battle it out on Saturday for 3rd place and a spot to represent North America at Rift Rivals, with our grand final taking place on Sunday as Team Liquid and 100 Thieves compete for 1st place and the title of NALCS Spring Split Champions. A reminder that after NALCS tonight, Jat and Kobe settle their feud in the NALCS Civil War. That's a big one. That's a doozy. So that about wraps it up here at the analyst desk, but we have Freak on stage with Zyrene and Kobe to close out the weekend on NALCS tonight. What is that? What are you doing?
Good night. Hello, everyone. Welcome to NALCS tonight. This time with an audience. That's awesome.